Skinflick, a Dave Brandstetter mystery, Book 5. Author, Joseph Hansen. Publisher, Open Road Integrated Media. Narrator, Eric Aust. In memory of Dr. Dreadful, who left too soon. Chapter 17. It was up one of those narrow, crooked old Topanga roads that floods out in winter. Big sycamores, dense with sunny green leafage, leaned white trunks over a creek where the water ran summer shallow among bleached boulders. The Triumph crossed a tough little new cement bridge. From mossy rocks beneath it, a fishing raccoon looked up. A plump gray quail led a crooked string of young across the road and into brush. Mule deer swiveled big ears at them from a clump of live oaks. The human habitations here were mostly old and shacky. Rickety automobiles and dusty pickup trucks with camper shells waited beside them. Horses browsed by barbed wire fences or found shade under corrugated plastic roofs held up by out-of-plumb 4x4s. Their tails swished off flies. Dogs bolted into the road and chased the car, barking cheerfully. Dave kept reading 10 mailboxes. The one that read Tocker was neatly enameled white, a little housey with the name punched out of metal along the roof peak, and topping it, a sheet metal cutout of a bow-legged cowboy with Stetson and guitar. The old rail fence was fresh white. The Triumph went up a drive of white gravel. The house was rickety bat and board, but fresh white also. Fist-sized rocks had been whitewashed and enclosed bright flower beds. Nasturtiums, orange, yellow, Indian red. He parked between the Mercedes and a hard-used estate wagon, probably Tooker's. When he switched off the Triumph, he heard the slow tap of typewriter keys. At the side of the house, a deck was built around the trunk of an old pepper tree. Under the tree sat Karen Shiflett. A toy red portable typewriter was in front of her on a TV eating table made of a wooden tray on tubular tin legs. At her bare feet were a box of envelopes and a stack of multigraphed letters. She bent close to the typewriter, peering nearsightedly. She poked the keys, studying an address. Poked the keys again. She didn't look up until Dave made a noise, setting down the carton of apples. "Oh, hi. Where did you come from?" Dave looked up the slope behind the house. 20 yards off, half a dozen palominos fed on strewn hay in a white-railed paddock. Their coats shone golden, their manes and tails cream white. The paddock was half-shadowed by a gaunt stable, open in front, sided and backed in vertical slats. Inside the stable moved the stick figure of the pimply kid from Keyhole Books. He looked healthier out here. When he stepped into the sunlight with a saddle blanket, his long yellow hair gleamed. He wore a green satin cowboy shirt, jeans, cowboy boots, smoothing the blanket over the back of one of the horses. He stared down at Dave and Randy for a minute, then went back into the shadows of the barn. "What happened to your horse sale?" Dave asked. Lon said no. She sighed and set aside the flimsy table that held the typewriter. She stood up and put out a hand to Randy. "Hi," she said. "I'm Karen Shiflett." "Sorry," Dave said. "Randy Van." "Nice to know you." Randy sounded faint and forlorn. Karen was wearing one of Lon Tooker's shirts again, knotted under her pert breast again. Randy was eyeing those breasts with thoughtful sadness. Karen turned for the aluminum screen door that opened from the house to the deck. She wore drawstring trousers of thin Indian cotton. Her neat little butt moved saucily inside them. Dave heard Randy sigh. "A beer?" Karen asked, "or lemonade?" "Maybe with tequila?" Randy asked. "No problem." Karen raised eyebrows at Dave. "Beer, thanks," he said. "He didn't murder anybody," she said when she came out with a painted Mexican tray, glasses of lemonade, a tequila bottle, a can of Coors, and a basket of corn chips. "So he doesn't need any defense." She set the tray down on the redwood bench that edged the deck. "So it isn't going to cost him anything, so don't sell the horses." She put herself on the bench next to the tray and held out Dave's beer to him. She patted the bench on the other side of the tray and said to Randy, "I'll let you put in the firewater, okay?" "Lovely." Randy sat down, laid his handbag aside, took up the lemonade glass and swallowed from it deeply. He set the glass down, uncorked the tequila bottle, and laced the drink back up to the rim of the glass. Karen watched him interestedly, watched him recork the tequila, then looked up at Dave, squinting a little because of the sun through the pepper tree. "I told you Lon was a child." "Maybe not." Dave took a blank envelope from the box and walked to the edge of the deck. He'd heard the paddock gate creak, the rattle of its latch. He heard the clop of hoofs. One of the Palominos was coming downhill. The kid on its back swayed in a tooled leather saddle. Dave vaulted the deck rail and climbed to the edge of the path. The kid reined in the horse. It looked at Dave with gentle eyes, blew softly through the big velvety nostrils, turned its head away with a shake that rattled bit and bridle. "Do me a favor," Dave asked the kid. He held out the envelope to him. The kid swung down out of the saddle. "Scrape one of his feet a little," Dave said, "and put the scrapings into this for me." "What for?" The kid took the envelope, blinked at it, fingered its smoothness, looked at Dave. "Some way it's going to help Lon." "If I hadn't thought so," Dave said, "would I have driven clear the hell out of here?" "I don't know why you want to help him," the kid said. "He's taken up a jail cell," Dave said, "that rightfully belongs to the beneficiary of Gerald Dawson's insurance policy." "You're trying to save your company money?" "You've got it," Dave said. The kid shrugged. He let the horse's rings hang. It didn't offer to go anywhere. The kid put his shoulder against its glossy rib cage, bent, tapped the near fetlock. The horse lifted its foot. The kid used a twig to pry debris from the hoof. The horse put the hoof down again. It took a step away and stopped. The kid picked up the debris from the path and tucked it into the envelope. He handed the envelope back to Dave. "I guess that's why they pay you," he said. "Hell, I could have thought of it, and I didn't. It's going to show the horse stuff on Dawson's clothes didn't come from here, isn't it?" "Hold the thought," Dave said, and put the envelope into a pocket. He turned back toward the house. "Thanks." "You want a ride?" the kid said. "Your girl want a ride?" "They all need exercise. Karen's busy, and my ass is about worn out." "Rain check," and Dave said. "I want to get this to a lab." "Don't wait too long." The kid swung back onto the saddle. They could starve to death." "Not for apples," Dave said. "I brought a box." "Beautiful," the kid said, and nudged the horse in the ribs with his heels. It ambled toward the road. "Lon better get his ass back here. That's all I know." Dave returned to the deck. Karen and Randy weren't there. A breeze came from somewhere. Dry red berries patted down from the pepper tree. The top sheets from the multi-graphed stack slithered across the planks. He picked them up, glanced at them, laid them back on the stack, and weighted the stack with a little green plastic pot that held a flowering cactus. He went into the house. The walls were paneled in fake birch. Paintings hung on them. Little children with huge eyes holding birds and small wild animals. A reel-to-reel tape recorder turned a good-hearted, off-key bass voice backed by instruction book. One guitar chords sang about saving the whales from the factory ships. Karen and Randy gazed at the pictures. Randy was cooing over them and downing lemonade. The tequila bottle was in his other hand. The cork was missing. He kept tilting the bottle over the ice cubes. "We have to go," Dave said, out on the deck again. He nodded at the multi-graphed pages and the blank envelopes. "Trying to raise the defense fund." "Talk about hoping against hope." Karen dropped dismally into the bench again and warily pulled the typewriter to her. "The creeps that came to that store wouldn't defend their own mothers, if they had mothers, which I seriously doubt." But she lifted her hands and let them fall. "It's the only mailing list I've got. That and a few Sierra Club buddies. I had to do something." "He won't do anything." She looked up at Dave with tears in her eyes. "You saw his pictures. He painted those himself. I know they're lousy, but they're sweet. You heard that song? He's written a lot of songs like that. How could this thing happen to somebody like Lonnie? How could he be so unlucky?" "He's not so unlucky," Dave said. "He's got a friend." In the Triumph, skidding and buzzing back down the canyon, beginning to meet upcoming cars now. People off work early, the start of the home-going rush. Randy sat silent, face turned away, gazing out the open window at the sunlight and shadows down the woodsy creek bed. The wind fluttered the neat, sun-streaked wig. He didn't seem to notice. Dave said, "Tequila got your tongue." Randy looked at him bleakly. "God, to have a body like that?" "What's supposed to be wrong with the one you've got?" Dave asked. "It looks fine to me." "It came from the wrong outfitter," Randy said. Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold: to offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides, and in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.